You can see, right? I cast dark vision on myself, but I don't need to do that for you.
Yeah, I can see you.
Spencer, give me a wisdom saving throw for me.
Wisdom.
And then give me a perception check for your watch.
I'm gonna call out Archie so he can help me.
Your familiar appears.
And I'll use his perception. He has advantage.
So, as your watch goes by, the night is pretty uneventful. You kind of gaze out in the beauty around you. Large trees with their copper and brass bark and silver and gold leaves towering above you, far up into the canopy, starlight shimmering off them at times. And then something else kind of catches your eye, gleam in the darkness. As you look out and you can just barely see two gleaming eyes staring in your guys' direction.
How large is large?
With your perception, they would look like they would be front-facing on a type of like beast.
Hmm.
Give me a nature check, actually. 24. Whatever kind of creature these eyes belong to, they'd probably be roughly the same size as the giant boars.
I'll have Archie go out and take a closer look.
Is he just gonna fly right out there?
Fly out, circle around. He's not gonna fly right up to it.
So as soon as Archie flies out of the dome, the eyes disappear into the darkness.
Okay, I'll bring him back.
And still, all around you, coming like around the dome, staring at you and Archie and your companions sleeping, coming out from the branches of the trees, the rocks around you, the little streams, are a bunch of little creatures with white masks and dots, almost all black bodies, with this kind of wavy, tangly, curly hair that seems to flow as if underwater.
Do I have any idea what these things are?
Hey, give me a nature check.
Let's go, Fenthwick.
That's exactly what you needed. You've heard of legends of these creatures, mainly because being near the Gravenwig Wood, being one of the last kind of bastions of the great woods of the world. These are forest spirits. However, you've only heard legend of them. The Gravenwig Wood does not have any of these creatures. They're a sign of a sacred, healthy forest. They grow from the energy and spirits of the forest itself. They're usually good omen, and with a natural 20, you do know that if you can somehow, be granted their favor, they do give out boons.
Any idea what would be required? What they might like?
That you don't know. There's no tale of specific things. It's just individual. Depends on the circumstance.
I grab some owlbear jerky, toss it out there.
You see kind of two of them pick it up. They have no mouth. They have no eyes, really. It's just this kind of porcelain-type mask around them. And then they kind of cock their heads at it, and you see them just kind of scurry off and run up the tree and into the tree. But other than that, your watch goes without a hitch. You guys are awoken as the sun starts shining down through the canopy. Once again, you'd expect with this thick forest canopy and how large the trees are that this area would be kind of almost shrouded in perpetual darkness. But the light seems to shine through and shimmer and reflect off both the bark and the leaves of these trees. So the area is well lit below. The dome fades. You guys get your long rest. The day is yours.
Get moving. Burn in daylight.
Marching order. What are you guys doing?
I'm going to be in the front.
I'll be, if I can, near Belladin, like on his shoulder, or off to one side of his shoulder if we can't walk.
I'm sprinting full speed to try and lose him as quickly as possible.
That's impossible.
I'm just kidding. I know. You have, ridiculous movement speed.
Belladin, give me a wisdom saving throw, please.
It's a 24, sir.
All right, you guys head out deeper into the forest. Belladin, you leading your companions, sure of the direction that you were headed in last night to continue along the same trail, or direction at least, that you think the corrupted druids from the Emerald Conclave are going. And as you guys are walking about through the forest, these forest spirits walk along with you, running from branch to branch, from stone to stone, stopping whenever you guys stop, but just watching playfully, almost like children. 1 hour goes by. 2 hours go by. Give me a perception check. So after about 4 hours of walking through this forest, Belladin, you swear you've seen that exact rock and tree.
Oh no. So Belladin is going to instantly stop and hold his hand up, and so the rest of the group will stop and just kind of close his eyes and think about the training he did with Elrala and his own experience with nature and plants and survival training and his walk across the continent before he even met this group. And he realizes that when he's traveling in his favorite terrain like this in a forest, that he can't become lost except by magical means. So his hair stands up on the back of his neck as he realizes that there must be some magical influence, like deterring the party, and he's gonna look back at Fenthwick and ask Fenthwick, do you sense any magic affecting us? Because we shouldn't be going in circles. And Belladin like points to the tree that you mentioned, and he goes, "We definitely passed this tree earlier. I don't normally based on the training I had with Orala. That shouldn't be possible. We shouldn't be lost. Do you feel like something is affecting us?"
I don't think I feel anything unusual.
Oh, could I try and sense maybe something? I don't know if it'd be another perception check. I am terrible at Arcana, so I don't know what it would be. I mean, maybe I could check the ground, look for our own tracks with survival, and see if we can try and use our own tracks to not go in a circle anymore.
Give me a survival check.
There it is.
Inspiration.
I do have inspiration. All right, let's cash it in. Dang, 26.
Yeah, so you start looking back and you start following your own tracks. And at about 30 paces, your guys' tracks disappear.
Oh, they're not going to be in front of us either. What would you say about these little creatures that can help us, Fenthwick?
Well, that's the legend.
Everybody give me a perception check. Hal, as they're having this conversation and you hear Belladin asking Fenthwick about these creatures, some of them have started to move away from you in a line to your left.
I'll point to the group. Our little friends over here were over there, and I'll point to my right, but now they're all on that branch over there. I'm not really sure what that means. Maybe we go left here, or go right here, or...
Maybe they're leading us somewhere? Is that what you think?
Could be.
Can't hurt.
Can you talk to them?
I can try. Fenthwick, what did you say? What kind of creatures are they?
They're spirits. I mean, they're related to the magic of the forest.
What happens when we try and walk towards them? Do they just like keep their distance?
So as you walk, where are you walking?
Like if they're on the left now, I guess we would start to veer in that direction. And then like they've been kind of shadowing us on either side. What happens if I just turn and walk towards the group in like a non-threatening manner?
The first ones kind of just stand and sit and watch. As you get to where they are, they start moving deeper to where the other ones are. And then they stop and wait.
I'm just going to turn back to the group and be like, yeah, actually, you're totally right, Hal. I think they want us to follow.
I don't want to go in a circle again, so after you, good sir. Young man, should I say?
Forest spirits no hungry?
They don't appear to have mouths.
Hopefully they're not hungry for us.
So eventually you start following these forest spirits deeper into the forest for another hour, 2 hours, and then each time, whenever you stop, they stop, and then just watch you. And then as you continue forward, they kind of almost do a shuffle to make sure that there's always a group of them waiting for you just a few feet away from where you are. And eventually they lead you to a little bit of an opening, as the trees have been close to each other, like where you feel claustrophobic. It's been pretty dense. There's a little bit of an opening in a small glade with some pools of, like, small ponds of water and a gigantic, massive tree, even for the ones that you've seen, probably 3 times the size of the trees you've seen before, easily maybe 100 feet across. And there are hundreds, maybe even thousands, of these forest spirits coming in and out of its branches, going in and out of its roots, the rocks and the ponds near it. Whoever wants to give me a perception check can.
What do you see there, Belladin?
I'm not sure. I got a 25 though. How?
So this is the first time in this forest you've ever seen signs of decay and rot. This tree is not healthy.
I'll just take my staff and kind of point it out to the members of my party where it's ailing and affected. If there's a heart of this forest, this would be it. And
Didn't you heal that tree back at the Harpy's Nest? Why don't you do that same thing?
I can try. Let me see if I can speak to it though. And I get within 30 feet, and I cast Speak with Plants.
The magic enters you, and you feel your mind connected to the plant life around you.
What is causing your suffering?
Who speaks?
I am Belladin of the Melchris. We come from a druid settlement near here, the Emerald Conclave, and we're here to try and stop their corrupted members from whatever damage they may be doing. Have they done this?
Belladin of the Melchris. It has been generations since I have spoken with one of you.
Yeah, my tribe doesn't usually come up to this part of the world. How can I help you?
I have felt the ones you speak cross the dirt of my home. But my ailment comes from something deeper. I have lived for 1,000 seasons, 1,000 of your lives. What will happen to my children when I am gone?
Hopefully we can stop that from happening. What affects you?
Dark spirit consumes my own, slithers in the heart of my roots, spirit of my roots. It steals the sunlight from me.
It's beneath you now?
Beneath me, within me, around me.
And this is not the doing of the druids who travel through this forest. This is something that happened before.
This has been consuming me for many seasons before you took your first breath, Belladin of the Melchris. I fear my time will soon be over here.
Well, you can feel me through our connection. My companions are strong as well, in different ways than myself. Feeling me as you do you think that we can make a difference, that we can stop it?
If one has heart and resolve and pure intent, the world is open to his one or her wonders. Do you believe you have the power, Belladin of the Melchris?
I like to believe that I was put on this journey to make a difference, and I have in little ways all the way up here, but this is a big way. So hopefully. So I imagine I'm like standing 30 feet away from this tree, and the roots are going underneath the ground. And as with, I don't know if it's the way that these trees work, but with some trees, like all of the different root structures, especially if they're the same type of tree, the same species, they'll all connect, the roots will, so they create these like networks. So I imagine I can just feel this like network, the same way that I do fungal networks through my spores. So I'm now like connected to it with my spore system, and I can like feel all the roots under the ground, and it's just spreading out from us in this forest.
Give me a perception check.
That's the second one tonight.
You reach out, and you can start to feel some of the roots around this massive tree. And you get a glimpse of what you think is the network, but you can't reach beyond that.
Yep. Where I was going with that was to be like, do I sense where the like poison is in the root system? Can I feel that? But I imagine with a natural one, no. Yeah. All right, so then I'm just gonna turn around and look at my group and say, okay, well, good news, bad news. The druids are not responsible for this tree being close to dying, even though it's been alive for 1,000 years, over 1,000 years. It is instead afflicted by a creature, a spirit, and it has been since before I was born. And if we don't try and do something about it, it's going to die. And I don't know what will happen to this forest after it does. So I don't know. It's a lot to ask of all of you, but I feel like if we make a difference here, it might be a boon to us as we follow these druids, because I like motion back to the tree. It can feel them and their travel. So if we help, it might help us find the people we're looking for.
This is your area, Belladin. On the tundra, we put these older elk and bear and eagles to rest as a sign of mercy. But if you feel we can heal this tree, we should at least try.
I'll nod and look to Fenthwick.
No, certainly.
Cork can understand common, just not super good at speaking it, or just no.
Kill tree ghost sounds good.
Okay, I say in Sylvan. Yeah, you got the gist. All right, I'll turn back to the tree. We'll do what we can. I know that if we make a difference here today, your life can be immeasurable. You're not like us, where we wither and eventually fail, even after, some of us last longer than others, but you could be immortal, and we should do what we can to help you achieve that.
The sentinels of Gian do not rest.
Exactly. So, how do we help you? Do we need to dig? Is there a way down?
Believe yourself to have the power.
If not us, when will the next group of insane adventurers show up?
Then, search within yourself to see how you would solve this problem. Alright, so we're going to do a skill challenge.
Voice.
So you guys can tell me what you're doing and what you want to use to try to help this tree.
A very specific set of skills, and they are not usually nature-based.
Is there anything visible growing? You know how, like, in forests, they have the weeds growing up and wrapping around some of these larger trees?
I mean, you can see some of, like, kind of rot and decay of certain portions of the tree and the roots starting to take hold. But there's no, like, outside other vegetation you can see.
Would this tree count as remains?
Not yet.
Okay.
So I'm going to try something. I'm gonna rage, and then I'm gonna push my ancestor. I'm gonna lean against the tree and put my hands at the tree, and then I'm gonna rage, and I'm gonna push my ancestral protectors into the tree to see if there are any untoward spirits around, and maybe they can, pull them or tear them or rip them away from the tree's roots.
Because that's creative. So how does your ancestral protectors usually work?
They're spirits of my ancestors that encircle beings to help prevent them from harming my friends.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that they appeared every time when you were raging. So every time you rage, there's like these spirit wars around you. I thought it happened only when you hit. So as you guys have seen quite a few times, but I'm going to describe it because I didn't realize it happened every time you're raging. As Hal goes and you see him just kind of grimace and almost yell out, and you see these flickers of spectral warriors appear beside him, like a company of them flickering every second around him. Give me an athletics check. So you enter this rage, your ancestors appear beside you, and you express your will and need to them, and you try to push your ancestral protectors into this tree, into the roots, and you feel resistance. You feel something pushing back against your will. But you grit through, and you can feel the physical strain of this, but you're not moving at all. The rest of you see how his muscles start to tremble, sweat appear on his brow. His whole body starts to shake as he stands with his eyes closed, grimace, and eventually how you feel your strength win over, and you push the spirit of your ancestors into this tree, and you feel a bit of darkness be expelled as your ancestral spirits go through the tree and cleanse as much as they can.
I'm gonna take a shot in the dark.
Okay.
And hope that this is some type of magical effect on the tree, and cast Dispel Magic. There's the 2.
You start to make your enchantment, and you feel the magics gathering within you. And you focus it and focus it and focus it into a tiny point, and then eventually it blasts out into a radius to dispel any magical effect. And you feel it hit the tree. You feel a magical essence all around you. There is magic in the air you breathe in this forest, but your spell takes no effect, as it just washes over the roots and branches, the rocks and stones.
I'm going to inspect the tree, and specifically the places where the rot and decay has taken hold, just to see if I recognize anything about how the tree is being affected, what part of its systems are being impacted by this.
Give me an Arcana check.
What the heck? Inspiration.
23, much better. You see there's no pattern to the decay and rot that is appearing on this tree. There's no logical spread or targeted areas. What you do notice, though, is that you've seen this type of rot before. A physical body or physical material is being drained, or literally like their life essence is being stolen on a spiritual level, magical or spiritual level. So you gather that whatever this is isn't physical. It's something beyond that is then taking the life force of this tree.
It's probably not going to be super helpful, but can't think of anything else. Ian, being a wood elf and growing up in a place, martial learning, but also just regular learning. I'm pretty old. I have studied in my life, just not in common. Would it be possible for Core to try to make a religion check to see if his people have heard of something that could do this to trees?
Yeah, give me a religion check. And then Fentwick, that was not your act. Like, that was just your check to see a photo. You still have your skill check that you, for whatever you want to try. So anything about like recalling knowledge, I'm not going to count that towards your guys' skill check.
I'm not good at this, but I'm technically trained in it, so I figured I'd give it a shot. Who knows? Not great.
15. Unfortunately, you haven't heard of anything that seems familiar with this. So we have 1 success and 1 failure.
Aside from just casting Dispel Magic multiple times, there's not much I can do here. Yeah, most of my stuff is just physical things for helping the group.
Fentwick and Core, you guys got anything you'd like to try?
You want Core to try something else?
No, so like I said, just kind of recalling knowledge. I'm not counting towards your guys' skill checks. You can still try to do something, if you'd like.
I am acrobatic, stealthy.
So there's magic everywhere.
Well, that's what kind of Belladin sensed with his Dispel Magic.
You know, all of this is magic, but it's... something is affecting it. I was gonna cast Gaseous Form, Fentwick, and go down there and see if I could take a look, but you said it was more spiritual. It's not a physical thing.
Yeah, if it's not a physical thing, I'm at a little bit of a loss to know what to do with something that isn't physical.
I'm gonna test the hypothesis. Can I just try something? I already know I failed, but can I try something?
You can certainly try. Tell me what you want to do.
I'm gonna try and life drain on the rot itself and see if the rot itself can be affected, like this, in the same way like a spore network can grow on other objects. and sap away from them, can I destroy the rot?
Or just give me a straight wisdom check. 18's good enough to realize that from what Fentic told you and what this tree has said itself, that you could probably scrape away the rot and take it off, but that would just be treating a symptom. The rot is not the cause.
Yeah, it's something down there.
Momentarily treating.
You said the little nature spirits are actually going in and out of the roots.
Yeah, and Fentwick, you would know that these spirits literally live within nature, within the rocks, within the trees, within all the forest itself.
This is a role for a low intelligence character. Core is going to try his best to try to communicate with these little dudes to see if they can tell him what they've been seeing under the ground. He's just going to start cycling through languages, see what he can do.
So you're just going to start talking to them in different languages?
Yep, Elvish, Primordial, Sylvan, whatever he can. He's going to try to see if he can get them to respond. Try to tell them that their big tree's sick and he needs to know what's causing it. See if any of the root spirits know what's happening.
You turn towards these forest spirits and start speaking with them and start cycling through and talking, and eventually some of them notice you and look over, cock their heads, turn towards each other, jump down from the branches, and you have a few of them now at your feet, and they've sit cross-legged on the moss floor, and they're just staring up at you, and you have a group of about 10 eventually by the time you're done. They're just staring back at you. And when you finish, they stare at you for a moment, and then stare back at each other, and then cock their heads, and then stare back at you, and just wait.
Alright, I guess it's Charade's time. Core is trying to explain that he needs them to dive into the tree roots, and he's going to physically do like a little tumble and dive at a root and just point down there, and then point at his eyes and point at the rot on the tree. And now he's devolved to charades because this is not working.
And the entire time, the 10 of them that have kind of been your audience sitting on the ground are just mimicking you completely. Movement for movement. And then when you stop, they just kind of cock their heads towards you.
Core thinks he's onto something, so he's going to continue this in the background, but it's not going to be helpful.
In the background, Fentwick, Belden, and Hal, you guys see Core leading almost like a little calisthenic group. These forest spirits going through odd motions and tumbling. There's about 10 or 12 of them now that are just copying Core exactly.
Since Dispel Magic didn't work, I could just keep spamming that, but I'll try something else. Try and be creative here. I'm going to go up to one of the larger root systems and put my hand next to where the rot is and enact symbiotic entity. But instead of it going into me, I'm going to try and force it into the root system to try and go down to where this spiritual parasite is and try and combat it with my own fungal infestation to see if I can get down there and fight it.
Give me a spell attack roll.
22.
You feel symbiotes in the air around you kind of thicken, and you feel connected to all of them at once for a moment. And you focus them on the root next to you where there's the rot. And you feel the sickly darkness as they enter the area around it to cover the root itself. And you find yourself willing for them to be pushed deep within the core of the tree and the root itself. And once again you all see Belladin now shake and tremble with that same strain as Halbar, as you feel something resisting your symbiotic entity, pushing back against it. But you're able to force your will through. And as the symbiotes take effect, you feel some of the darkness leaving the tree. The 32 temporary hit points are given to the tree.
Yep, that was the plan. Very cool, thank you.
So you have 2 successes, 1 failure. You sense, Belladin, that there is still some darkness left.
Yeah, I still have my hands there, just trying to force whatever of my willpower I can to continue helping after that. But I'll look back at Fenthwick, who's the only one not playing charades with the forest folk, and say, I think we've done something, but it's still in there.
Well, I don't usually do this, but I'm going to fall back on my clerical training and literally just pray to my god.
Divine intervention?
Not a divine intervention. You can't do that, but something like that. If he can intercede in any way to give me insight, knowledge here, chuck out whatever's inside this tree.
For the first time that any of you guys can remember, Belladin, what religious artifact do you have on you? Do you have like a...
I do have an amulet.
Yeah, you see him take out this amulet that he has under his breastplate. And he's kind of clutching it in his hand. It's hard to see what exactly it is. And you see him close his eyes. Fenswick, give me a religion check, please. 18. You feel yourself for the first time in a long time praying to Merlis. Not just using the skills and power and knowledge of the arcane weave around you, but actually praying to Merlis himself, the source of all magic. And you feel and hear nothing. And you open your eyes, the tree remains the same. Belladin, at this point, your talk with plants is still up, right? It's 10 minutes?
Yeah, 10 minutes.
10 minutes? So probably getting to the end of the 10 minutes, you hear, "You indeed have power, Belladin of the Melchris, as do your friends. But I feared you would not be able to expel the serpent here. I feared it would come to this, for I wish no harm to come to you because of me. But if you wish to continue, I will open the way." And at the base of the tree near some of the roots, you hear a loud creaking noise as a bunch of these forest spirits gather around, and you see an opening appear as the tree and roots spread themselves.
I'm gonna look at Hal and say, "Do you want to use your gem, or should I make it so that way we can see down there?"
I can use my gem. That's not an issue.
I look back at Fenthwick. I speak in Sylvan to Core, and I say, "Hey, Core,
Yes.
I think I'm gonna stay in Sylvan for a second. Would you be willing to go down with us into the tree and possibly take this thing out?"
Of course.
Alright, he said serpent, just to give you a heads up of what we might be facing. And then I switch back to common, and I say, "It's opened the way for us, so that way we can try and fight this thing. Maybe the successes we've had will make the fight easier, but whatever this serpent creature is, this may be difficult. So, if everyone is willing, let's go."
Yeah, and I believe Core was told to go into the tree, so he is actively going into the tree.
You see Core step into the pitch black.
I think he has dark visions.
I'll be right behind him.
Yeah, Core, it is. You look in, it is pitch black.
Dark in here. Okay.
Halbar, do you go behind him, your gem of brightness? After the first inch of bark and tree, it is pitch black.
I'll be following from behind.
Alright, you guys all step into this passage that has been opened underneath the roots of this tree, great sentinel tree, and you feel yourself free falling for a moment as you take a step forward and you just fall. Your face going forward, like you've fallen off a curb almost. And for a moment you don't hit anything. And then you feel the splash of water hit your face as you come up and you're sitting a couple inches shallow deep pool, pitch black. How your gem is on, correct?
The rest of the group looks up, and Belvin is just floating down. Unless we magically were tossed down.
Yeah, you all awaken. You don't float. You literally, you feel yourself. It's like that moment before you can even have time to activate the boots to fly. It's that first moment of falling where you're kind of stumbling, and then you feel yourself falling forward, and then the splash of water against your face as you were sitting upright into this pool.
So it's less that we fell from a height, but more like transformed through a portal or something like that.
You didn't fall into the water. You came out of it.
Oh, interesting. Very cool, very cool. Like gravity shifted and switched for a second, and we went from going down to up in a moment.
You can see.
Ooh.
You find yourselves as I said, in a shallow pool, a couple inches deep at most. Rocks around you, large boulders covered in moss and algae. You hear the rushing of water coming from ahead of you. You look and you see small streams of water pouring down these boulders with large roots intertwined.
If we're not in initiative, Belladin's going to be selfish and cast Dark Vision on himself.
Hey, you guys have a moment.
We'll don my shield and get my hammer out and get ready.
Yeah, I'm going to don my shield as well. Good idea.
Cord looks for Snake.
So you guys get ready as you feel yourselves come up out of this pool, and you take a moment to stand and ready yourselves and look around and take in your surroundings when you hear a slithering, splashing to the northeast. Let's roll some initiative.
That's the third natural one of tonight, everybody, in case you're keeping track. Man, 2 of y'all got 20s? Look at you.
You hear this slithering and this...
Is that in common?
Some partial tongue out there?
Actually, what... Does anyone speak Celestial? It's in Celestial.
Does anyone else speak Celestials or just me?
Not I.
Just you.
Not I.
I'll translate for the group and say, looks like we're fighting someone named Orochi.
Cockroaches. I knew it.
Yeah, I give like a finger gun to Fenthwick, and then I'll respond back in Celestial and say, we're here to make sure that the great serpent feeds no more.
Let's start. Core, you're up.
So, kill the snake?
I look at you, and in Sylvan I say, kill the snake?
Alright, bonus action, astral form. Pop out the...
Okay, and you heard the speaking come from over here.
Off in the darkness way over there, huh? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Okay.
Core is very aware that he can get up there, but his team might not be able to get up there as quickly, so he's just going to stay around this area and take a dodge action.
So how high is the ceiling in this place?
You don't see a ceiling in the light.
Cool. I will cast levitate. Raise myself up into the air.
How high you going?
20 feet. And do I see anything coming from the direction where the voice was?
Can you see anything on the map?
Nope.
It's pitch black beyond that. So you hear the slithering and the hissing coming from this direction, but...
Okay. Then I will just hang in the air.
I will run in the direction of the person. I'm assuming it's all difficult terrain.
Yes.
Action dash.
You see this large serpentine snake slithering from the roots of this massive tree in the middle of this pond. Its scales are bronze and silver, and they sparkle brightly even in the dim light.
I'll rage, and that's my turn.
It is now Orochi's turn. We'll slither forward 30 feet.
Just so you're aware, he's invisible to us.
Yes, this is a gargantuan-sized snake. Hal, are you looking at it?
I didn't see it, but I imagine I would be running towards it, looking towards it. I mean, unless you tell me, are you going to divert your eyes?
And it comes forward. Give me a wisdom saving throw first to see. Okay.
5.
So as it comes forward into the bright light of your gem, the scales shine with a blinding brilliance. As it's coming forward, you are looking at it. So you are stunned until the end of your next turn. Actually, I would need everybody to make wisdom saving throws for me. Alright, Core, you are not stunned.
Glad that's enough.
Can I use luck since we're still rolling it? Let me try luck.
Oh, I forgot you're lucky.
I don't want to be stunned, but we'll see.
And Fenthwick, you were not stunned?
Fenswick, you are stunned.
Oh no.
Oh, that's the same roll.
You rolled the exact same thing.
So now you guys know for your next turns, you can avert your gaze if you want. But as it first comes into the bright light of the gem, the scales shine with the blinding brilliance. And it is going to make a bite attack on you, Hal. That will be at advantage. It's a 32 to hit. Okay, you take 24 piercing damage, halved, and 23 acid. You are stunned, so you automatically fail the dex save, and you are swallowed by this creature.
So the light goes out.
Yes, actually.
Well, luckily, Cor, can you see in the dark?
Can?
I'm pretty sure Fenthwick, you can as well, right?
Yeah.
I can as well, so we'll be all right.
Okay, so the person who needed the light kept the light. That's good.
Yep, he's got the light with him.
As Halbar lays dazed, looking up at the brilliance of this creature's scales, he is instantly snapped up and swallowed. So you are currently blinded and restrained as well, Hal. It has 10 more feet of movement, so it's just going to slither down.
Okay, then what I will do...
So yeah, when it was in the dim light, you can see the scales sparkling. But once it moved into the bright light, it shone like brilliant, like blindingly.
Oh, okay, so that's okay. Good to know. I'm still gonna move where I was gonna move, and then target the big snake. It's a 19 to hit.
19 hits.
All right, for 6 necrotic damage, and the like sickly green hand stays attached to the giant snake, and I still go up 10. I go 10 feet and 20 feet up, and that is my turn.
Now, Cor, you're able to go.
Cor draws his bow and does not shoot at disadvantage because he can see from here. And we'll take a couple shots at this guy. Why? Is it because I didn't say Kimberly first? There you go.
26
Kimberly.
hits for 12.
You said Kimberly, and you rolled a 26.
There we go. Kimberly is my guardian, my archer angel, so I need to bend back up to here again. And that will end my turn.
That's so funny.
Fenthwick, you are stunned.
I float back down to the ground then.
Okay, Hal, you're up. So yeah, you are stunned, blinded, and restrained. You are no longer stunned. You are blinded and restrained now as you find yourself being bright light as the gem is showing you the inside of the digestive tract of a giant serpent. And you take 22 acid damage. Because now the Titan bow's turn. Just gonna keep going forward. Let's probably say it'll go forward 20 feet there, 30 feet there, 30 feet there. Yeah, roll me a d2, someone. Either Belladin or Fenthwick. Roll me a d2. Alright, Fenthwick, it's gonna make an attack on you to constrict you.
I don't think it'd be an advantage because he lost his stun at the end of his turn.
Oh, does a 19 hit?
No, it does not.
So you see it slithering forward, and then suddenly as it gets closer towards you, it turns towards both of you and races forward and tries to constrict you with its body, but you're able to escape. Okay, yeah, it's going to make a bite attack. Someone roll me a d2 as well. Just want to make sure that it still could. It's going to try to bite you, Fenthwick. 18.
Oh, goodness.
Alright, that's its turn. Belladin, you're up.
Okay, so I imagine this thing has a pretty high constitution, being huge. Don't you know that all my damage spells have light?
I was not aware of that.
Oh, I'm sure you were not. Alright, I can do this. It's a DC 17 constitution saving throw.
Oof.
And you rolled a 17, so that's 7 damage. And you do not get pushed back.
You hear this thunderous sound and you feel this wave of energy. How you feel yourself jostling with inside this serpent's esophagus.
Does that mean I'm on my way out?
Maybe he has GERD, you never know.
Mm-hmm. So I went up another 10 feet and moved 20 feet. So I should still be within range.
Like I said, this thing is gargantuan, so...
Yeah, yep. So I'm now 30 feet up. And that's going to be my turn. I can click it.
Oh no, yep. Yeah, Cor did not understand the assignment on the first turn. Backing up was not what we were doing apparently, so he will reverse. And let's see if I can pull my JoJo.
Oh, I guess, sorry. He wouldn't have been able to move there. He would be able to move there.
Come on, man. I can still reach him though with the astrals, right?
Yeah, let me just move you over one, Belladin. So I didn't realize I was in your square there. Couldn't have done that.
The big boy, so I can still reach him. So we are going to punch, jaw punch. Come on, what is with those? No more twos. No more twos.
16 will hit. 24 will hit.
24 will hit. We gonna try this. Key point stunning strike.
What is it, con save?
Oh
That
shit!
is a con save. It's a 16.
That's an 11.
Oh!
Plus 5 con. Couldn't get it. It is stunned.
Amazing.
Okay, then I'm not gonna waste stuff. Just bonus action punch.
You have advantage.
Yeah, he does.
Alright, 7 damage.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Fentook, you're up.
I'll reach out, gently caress him, and cast Inflict Wounds.
Alright.
Come on, big money.
Yeah.
23 hits. Alright, 22 damage. Very nice.
And I think I will take the opportunity to 5, 10, 15. Oh, is it difficult terrain?
Yes, it is.
I can only move like 10 feet.
Of course, now I'm even more confused about the assignment.
Core has had to have met like melee fighters versus ranged fighters. Like, come on, homie. You know how different types of fighting styles work.
Halbar, you're up.
All right. Am I able to hit this thing from the innards?
Yes, you are. Yeah, because restrained would just give you disadvantage. Blinded and restrained would just give you disadvantage. But he's stunned, so it's just a regular roll.
I'm assuming I can't crawl out of him because my speed is 0.
Yes, no, you cannot. You are restrained. You can attack.
Beat that threshold.
16 hits.
That's 14 bludgeoning. Second attack
17 hits.
for 9. I'm going to action surge. I'm going to use luck because I got to get out. It's not going to help.
13 just barely misses.
Okay. Last attack. That's a natural
Boom.
20.
Let's go.
There you go.
Natural 20 for 15 damage.
15. Bonus action, second wind.
So you take your hammer and you start smashing against this creature as you feel its muscles relax and you're just able to get just enough to start hitting it like better.
5 healing.
It just made its save.
Is it a con save for each attack or just it?
No.
Yeah, I think it's con save for reaching a threshold of damage.
Oh, bummer. Well, it's stunned.
It is stunned.
I still take the acid. Yeah.
Yep.
25 points of acid damage.
Oh, Jesus.
Can I aim for the acid? Can I stun the acid's turn? That's ridiculous.
It is its turn. It is stunned. It can't do anything.
Is its mouth open?
I would say if you're just trying to reach in there, no, it would not be open.
It wasn't like roaring or exclamating in pain when he got stunned from being hit.
No, it's open slightly, but it's not like agape.
I know. I'm not going to reach in. I'm going to climb it.
You want to climb inside?
I'm 30 feet up. It's gargantuan, so I should be around its head.
I'm gonna say this is for now. You're able to grapple it if you want it, like without a check because it's stunned. For so you've grabbed onto its giant fangs.
I was going to climb down its throat.
Yeah, but I'm saying for this turn, your action is to grapple it, pretty much.
Well, that doesn't make any sense for what I have in mind. So, instead, I'm going to... Unfortunately, the stuff that it will fail, like dex or strength saves, involve light.
You guys can choose to avert your gaze.
Yep, close your eyes first. You're good.
Okay. Where is everybody? Okay, I'm going to move across its form. I get close to my companions, I look down at them, and I say, avert your gaze. But yeah, so I will make a circle around it. So that way it's pretty much on top of its form. I can make the template, actually.
Within range. Yeah, you don't even have to be looking at it to make it. So you can avert your gaze as well.
Oh my god. It's exactly its size. So yeah, it would need to make a dex save, but it fails because it can't move.
Yep, automatic failure of dex saves, so full damage.
So it takes 26 fire damage.
Whew.
You know what? I wouldn't put it exactly on its form because I want my astral friend to still be able to punch it.
Okay, so you can make the template and
I'm punching from 10 feet away. I'm not right on it.
Yeah, that was a spell. I don't have a bonus action other than like Shillelagh, but that's it.
Core, you're up. Creature is stunned currently. Core, it is your turn. Are you averting your gaze?
Yes, I will be averting my gaze with these punches.
Astral Fist.
Yeah,
There we go.
amazing.
Roll for me every time. Roll for me every time, sir.
That's amazing.
So that is 12 points of damage right there.
I have used 2 key points. I would like to use another one to try to re-stun this man. That
That's a
makes it.
17.
Let me get another punch in.
That's a 21 to hit for another 5 damage.
I would like to use key point number 4. Try to stunning strike this guy.
Oh,
That's a natural 1. I rolled a natural 20 for you and a natural 1 for me.
Wow.
And I would like to just bonus action third punch.
18 hits
Hell yeah.
All right.
for another 9 force damage.
Still doing my thing from afar. Appreciate it. Or we'll stay here.
Fentwick, it is your turn. Are you averting your gaze?
Sure.
So you cannot use any spell that relies on sight of the target, and any attack rolls have disadvantage. So it's stunned, so it'd be a straight roll.
Gonna cast Lightning Bolt, which says,
Deck save, right?
yeah, it's a deck save, and it just says any direction you choose.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's coming from you, right? So you don't have to see where you want. You just point it to where you want it to go.
Okay, so it automatically fails.
Automatically
Okay, so-
fails the deck save. Yep.
Amazing. Oh, damn.
Wow.
Ooh.
He like it.
Incredible.
Yeah, that hurt. Its scales are starting to fall off. You see this kind of glowing blood start to pour from its wounds. It's not looking great.
1, 2. And I'll move a little further away.
Just in case.
That's the end. So
Pretty good turn, I gotta say. Halbar, you're up. 17 hits.
For 9 bludgeoning. And an 18 for 15 bludgeoning.
You see all this blinding, almost bright blood and ichor oozing from its body. Its scales are starting to crack. Its eyes, you see even this blood coming from its eyes as it's hissing at all of you. You see actually Hal's hammer strikes punching out, almost like that scene in Alien where he's about to burst through the stomach. Still hanging in there.
Okay, that's my turn.
Oh, that's a lot of numbers.
Alright, you take 22 points of acid damage, Hal.
Oh, he's still up.
It is stunned. Belladin, you're up.
Well, I keep concentrating on Wall of Fire, so it would take damage at the end of its turn.
Oh, that's true. Because it can't move either.
So that's 19 more fire damage.
Belladin, how do you put an end to this serpent spirit, Orochi?
So I'm up floating in the air about 30 feet up. Whatever infection that you brought here, it was your undoing. I hope any creature like you will learn of your demise and not try and infect another tree. And as all of its scales are burning and everything, I'm going to wait until the right moment to remove the Wall of Fire, so that way whenever Hal emerges, this is supposed to be like a spiritual realm or something, right? We're not even like in the material plane for a second. We're in this like weird place. So I don't know if this snake is going to dissipate or what, but I don't want Hal to take damage. So as soon as I see that the creature's dead, I'm going to turn off the Wall of Fire.
So the wall of fire, it starts to catch, and you see now these iridescent scales burn, and your wall of fire was this brilliant kind of orange and yellow, right? But as the scales burn, they turn into this pale blue, and it starts to move up from the tail all along the body, this kind of burning blue flame, as it consumes the snake's form. Iridescent dust, almost instead of smoke, appear and drift off above it. And it starts to consume the entire snake's body in a spiral pattern up and around. And you hear it hiss in Celestia once more, Belladin. I will return. and then the body is consumed, and how you fall prone on the ground as the body dissipates and will end combat. And how you see Hal appear in the pool, splashing all the acid off him, and you can see the burn marks covering his body as the acid was eating away at his flesh. What would you guys like to do?
Jeez, what a sore loser that guy was.
Oh, appreciate it. Thank you.
As the gem is glowing once more.
21 HP to Hal.
As Hal, as you fell onto the floor, the body dissipating and this dust kind of spreading out in what appears to be the night sky above you turns to daylight, and it's just a bright light sky, no blue, just light above you, and you can see the entirety of the area around you.
Do you think we're the first ones down here? That really hurt. I'd like to take a few minutes and sit down while you guys traverse the area. Maybe there's a stairwell, maybe there's ropes we can climb a way out, but I'm going to sit right here for a second.
I'll cast Cure Wounds to help you along.
And as you guys are sitting at the base of this giant tree that you can see now above, you hear a creaking sound, similar as to when the great tree opened up a passageway for you guys earlier.
Saying the direction of the giant black thing?
That's a giant trunk of the tree.
How smart move, fight inside.
Yes, the skin is thinner from the inside, I've heard.
Are you guys gonna spend more time here or go back?
So we can see a opening in here.
Yes, here.
Well, we can blow this joint.
All right, help me up, Gore, and I'll make my way. There's nothing in here that you want to look around with? You don't need any, maybe Belladin needs moss or something for one of his, whatever you guys do. I'll meet you guys up top.
All right, and how once again you step through this darkness, and it feels almost like you're that moment where you're stepping off a curb that you weren't or was aware that was there. That moment of just falling for a moment, and then you find your feet on the ground, and you've stepped out of that opening from the tree originally.
I'll be glad when we're out of these forests, he says to himself. I want to hear fresh air. Hear it? I want to smell it. I want to hear the wind across the tundra, the snow and ice crunch under my feet. And he thinks about warmth in the blue skin, and he makes his way back out and leans back up against the and sits down, puts his elbows across his knees as they're propped up slightly, and closes his eyes and leans his head back.
And for a moment, Hal, as you're thinking about that, you feel an icy cold draft blow against you. And you smell, and you don't smell the kind of dense vegetation and heavy plant life around you, the forest. You smell that tundra once more, just for a moment. And you feel the cold wind blowing against your bare skin, and you look around, but there's a slight breeze from the trees, but nothing like the gust that you're feeling. But all around you in the trees, branches, you see the forest spirits kind of arms up, kind of like those blow-up dolls, not blow-up dolls, but the blow-up men outside of car dealerships.
Pardon me?
It's not blow-up dolls. The bendy guys outside the car dealerships. They all have their arms up, and they're flailing about like they're going with the gust that you're feeling.
I know what you mean by car dealerships. I don't know what you mean by the other thing.
Yeah, strike that. We'll take that out in post.
I had Belladin was talking to him. Well, Core was talking to him. I don't know. I'm just going to sit back here and rest for an hour. All right. We'll make it. We'll meet with my family. Hopefully sooner than later, but we helped Belladin.
Catch up, Belladin. An opening has made itself again at the base of this large tree that you can see ahead of you, similar to the one when you guys first stepped through. Hal has already gone through.
Before I join him, I'm just gonna look. Is there any rot in here? Is it fading? Does it still look sickly after the snake's gone?
So as the snake dissipated, the iridescent kind of blue dust that was coming off of its burning scales floated up into the sky, and for a moment seemed like a thousand stars, and then turned into just. You look up, and it's not a blue sky even; it's just pure light, and you can see all around you now. And give me a perception check.
23.
You see now small portions of the ponds around you where what looked like almost stagnant, foul water starting to run faster. And you see that kind of scum that was accumulating on top just dissipate into nothing. And you look at some of the roots of this gigantic tree that's even bigger than the physical one that you've seen. And the roots, you see there where there was almost this kind of black web-like veins all running through them. They are now turning to a vibrant golden hue.
All right. Lovely. Lovely. All right. Belladin's going to return to the liquidy area here. Core's still here with me, right?
Yeah, I don't think Core and Fentwick haven't gone through.
All right. So I'm going to put an arm around Core and the other arm around Fentwick and say, those were some amazing tactics there. And I think because we all worked together, Hal survived. He looked maybe the worst I've ever seen him after that. Snake disappeared. And if we had gone any slower or done any less, I think he may not have made it. So the tactics we displayed here today, I think we need to carry that going forward. And I look at Core and I say, whatever it is you do when you hit them and they paralyze, let us know when you're doing that, because we have magics that rely on them moving out of the way. And it is a deadly, deadly combination.
Is Hal being the decoy an essential part to this battle strategy?
None of us meant for him to be the decoy.
Yeah.
But it did happen to work out that way. No, I mean, no one needs to be a decoy. If they get paralyzed, then we can do what we did, and it can turn the tide of battle. So let's keep that in mind going forward. And we can do that from anywhere. We can be further away than you. You and Hal can be up near them, and Fentwick and I can be further back. And we can do what we did.
Yes, we make a good team.
Yeah. Fentwick, that was amazing. And then I'm like leading them towards the way out.
You mean the way I stood there for a few seconds with a dumb look on my face? Yeah, that was amazing.
But then you like pointed your finger and lightning came out of it and messed it up. Oh, is there any with my perception check, do I notice anything in there like worth grabbing? Like, this is like a spiritual realm, so I don't know if we'd find anything materialistic in here, but did the snake leave anything behind?
No, the body completely dissipated.
Okay. And the rest of this is just kind of beautiful foliage and roots and water.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Well, if there's nothing for us to grab and things are starting to turn around in here, then yeah, we should head out.
And you guys all step through, and like the first time, you take that step, and it's that first moment of, oh, there's no ground, free fall, and then a split second later, your foot finds purchase on solid ground, and you find yourselves walking out from the opening of the great tree, the Sentinel Forest.
Amazing.
You all see the sight of Hal resting against the tree roots, even in his hurt condition, a slight smile on his face as you see all these forest spirits around him, just waving their arms back and forth, like they're being blown by a breeze, but by a gust of wind. But you guys can't feel anything. And then after a moment, they stop, and then they all look at you. That moment, how that feeling of the gust of the tundra leaves you, and you're surrounded once more by the smells and scents and the senses of the Sentinel Forest.
It was good while it lasted.
After a moment, the opening behind you closes, and you see the rot that was once on the roots and the barks literally fall off, like slough off. And almost immediately, you see healthy new growth appear. Sprouts of leaves and small branches. The roots grow thick and strong, even stronger around it, almost like bone. And all of the forest spirits, the hundreds, maybe even thousands around you, you see start to jump up and down and hugging each other, holding each other's hands, as apparently you've healed.
Amazing.
Is Core jumping up and down and holding hands?
I don't know, Core, what are you doing?
Trying to hold their hands.
Probably trying to hold Bell and I can't see your names if I'm not in boundary. Yes, Fentwick. Probably trying to hold the two of your hands while I jump.
You're just gonna get a weird look.
After a moment, 4 of these forest spirits approach each of you. These ones seems a bit larger, their hair longer and wilder. And one by one, they raise one hand up to each of you.
I'll put my hand out. I'll give him a high five.
Alright, they're still tiny, so they're still on the ground. They're only a couple inches tall.
Oh,
Yeah, we hit him with the Michael and David. You
Low
know, reach
five.
up the finger.
Who wants to go first?
I feel like Hal should. He came out first. He barely survived.
Hal, do you have any swords on you?
I have a scimitar.
You see them reach their hand out towards you, and you feel the scimitar burn for a moment at your side. You feel this heat radiating from it wherever you have it stowed, and it starts to vibrate almost. What do you do?
I'll put it on my shoulders and like rub out the knots in my muscles and stuff. You know, kind of like one of those guns that do vibrating.
Yeah, as you take it, you see it shining with a brilliance you've never seen before, as it reflects the sunlight shimmering down from the trees. You see it almost reflect a rainbow of colors, a different color almost every time you turn the light. Just the barest hint and just for a moment. And on the bottom, the hilt is in the shape of a dragon head. The same shape of a creature that you've seen the skull of in the Elven ruins, and almost similar to the one that you saw in the fresco, the Elven Prince's tomb, which you would assume is a dragon's head. So you can mark down a Dragon Slayer scimitar.
Ooh, shoot.
Very nice.
Who wants to go next?
I feel like the only reason Hal went first is because he was already so close to the ground. But we do know how much Cora loves interacting with these little guys, so I think he'd be the quickest next to interact with them.
Core, as you see this creature raise their hand, it turns its palm up and awaits you.
Turns his palm up, huh? Core copies it.
Okay, as you turn your palm up as well, there appears a small wooden charm of a heart. You can add a potion of heroism into your... The charm gives you pretty much the effects of a potion of heroism.
Very nice. That's one-time use.
I'll go next, I guess.
Belden, it does the same thing for you, turns its palm up.
Yep, I'm like kneeling down and I'm holding the staff in one hand, like on one knee, and then my other hand I have it put it out the way the little spirit is.
You see form in your hand a wooden charm, but in the shape of a small fox.
Oh.
This allows you to use conjure animals, 3rd level version, as an action. 3 uses.
Oh wow. Okay.
Alright, Bentwick. Last one.
I walk up. I hold both my hands up.
It still only holds one hand up.
Fine, I drop one hand.
And this time the wooden charm appears almost like in the shape of that pond that you came from, the roots and the small pond. It looks like a small little carving of that. This is a charm of restoration. It has 4 charges of greater restoration. Yeah, 4 charges of greater restoration. They kind of nod their heads to you and then return to their fellow forest spirits. And you're surrounded by these thousands of forest spirits all around you, who you've just saved their parent and one of the great beings on this planet who has stood there from almost the beginning of time. And as such heroic acts, you were rewarded with the charms of the forest spirit.
Amazing.
So you can continue on your journey to hopefully thwart the corrupted Druids of the Emerald Conclave and whoever this Enix is.
Paladin, I don't want to sound like an ingrate, but can they help us move a little bit faster?
I can check. They're like traveling with us, right? The little creatures.
Yeah, for the moment, you guys are just still kind of just taking a moment outside the tree, so you haven't started moving yet.
I need 45 minutes. Give me like 45.
Oh yeah, he needs a rest. He is messed up.
Yeah. Fine.
I'll-
Not the second.
No. All right, I'll speak to the creatures. I'll go over to the ones congregating around Core because I know that he's interacting with them, and I'll say, given what's our goal is and the corrupted druids that we're facing. Is there any chance that you can help lead us where they are? Because we got lost on the way here.
They cock their heads at you, and then for a moment they just lay there. Then suddenly their heads start to turn and shake, and you hear a rattling noise. And suddenly the ones around them continue and pick up, and 1,000 these forest creatures are rattling around you.
I'm like, well, in 45 minutes, not now. 45 minutes?